Yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right, you're welcome. Just talent, I guess. I'm sorry. How is the pitch with him? I thought that's how I've always felt. Give me, I know your last name. Give me your last name again. That was the one I was worried about. And I am the one. So thank you for the reminder. I'm sorry about that. I understand. I usually try to do that, but I'm not sure why I would have gotten it right before and after, but not that one at all.
Anyway, is she gonna watch? Wendy and your phone. Oh, she brought the old one back.
Here. Mr. Reynolds?
Present. Council, the minutes of our 13 May meeting have been presented to you. Do you have any additions or corrections?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments or questions about the minutes? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, the vote please.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tubb? Yes. Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly? Yes. Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Do we have any reports from standing or special committees today?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cool?
tomorrow night at 5:30 in the big conference room, there will be a joint committee meeting of personnel and public works. The discussion will be the future of Parkersburg Sanitation Department. It will, as always in committee meetings, there will be discussion among the city council members and the department heads that are there. Public is invited, but just want to inform you that the public does not get to speak at that time.
Thank you. Anyone else on council have any reports from standing or special committees?
Mr. President? I have a memo to read. It's dated today from Council President Reynolds. It says, in following City Council's Rules Number 16, City Council committees, it states that all committees shall be appointed by the presiding officer of regular or special meetings. I hereby appoint myself as a member of the Finance Committee due to the resignation of Councilman Chris Rexroad. That committee now consists of Ms. Daly as chairman and council members Brown, Borkowski, McCready, and Mr. Reynolds. That's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have a board sign up for the public forum tonight?
We do. The first one is Cynthia Lockney.
Our public forum tonight is 40 minutes in length. Each speaker that has signed up with the clerk will get 4 minutes to speak, and public forum is now open.
That'll be followed by Walt Hall.
Good evening. I am your representative on the library board, and you also know that I'm hoping to be reappointed for another 5 years. But I want to give you a little update on the library. We have 2 big capital projects we're working on, one of which is replacing the bookmobile. And we've already gone ahead and ordered the bookmobile. The one that we have right now, they call it Barnabas. Barnabas has been active for about 30 years, and this past year or two, he's been having issues about every month, and so we aren't always able to do our obligations to the outside sources that we travel to with the bus. So we decided we need to look into this, and so we've selected a bus, and it is now being built. The other project we're looking at is building a much larger library for Williamstown. We are working with the city of Williamstown, and we hope to use a portion of the elementary school that's still standing to become the new library. It'll be, we hope to be not quite 5,000 square feet. But right now, the woman who is running the library up there, if she has any events, she has to move all the shelving back and bring in tables, and it's quite a, and they do have really good attendance for their programs. So we feel that it's something that community really needs. The other thing I want to talk about is we're getting ready for our summer program with our kids. Last year we had almost 1,100 children attend throughout the summer, and they get books when they come, free books. But this year's theme will be art. They'll be doing different things utilizing art. I think one of the things they're going to do is paint some pots or something. But every week there'll be a different project. I think there are 8 weeks total between June and July for the kids in our community, and it's all free. On May 31st, we're going to have Library Fest. This will be our second one. It'll be held in the parking lot at the library. There'll be food trucks there, music, I think face painting for the kids, but it's kind of our kickoff to start our summer program. And it will be from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Hopefully the weather will be decent on Saturday. So we hope you all can come out and see what's going on in the library. I think the Friends of the Library are going to be selling some books. People donate books they don't want anymore, and they go to the Friends of the Library and then use that as a fundraiser to raise money for special things. So you all can attend, and thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that update.
Next, Mr. Alvo, Juliana Street.
Start my stopwatch here to make sure I don't go over time. Lawyers are sometimes known for talking a little bit too long, so somebody will pull the plug on me, I'm sure, if I get too windy. Appreciate having the time to chat with you all for a second about a concern that's come to my mind. I'm not a regular down here, and I do know most of you. Appreciate being put on the agenda and an item that I can talk about. And I appreciate Dr. Day and the other folks who joined with me in bringing this matter forward. The reason that I'm here is about 35 years ago, my wife and I moved back to our home here in Parkersburg from out of state, and since that time we've had regular, reliable trash service at our home on Juliana Street. As you all know, we've had many administrations, mayors of all parties, Democrat, Republican. We've had all kinds of city councils in that time. We've had regular trash pickup, no problems, for 35 years. For some reason, and I've heard various theories as to why, beginning of this year, trash in the Juliana Square sometimes would be picked up, sometimes it wouldn't. Sometimes your recycling would be picked up, sometimes your trash would be left, sometimes it was reversed. And we had a stretch for about 3 weeks, we didn't have anything picked up. Williams Court Alley looked like something out of, I don't know, Baghdad or something. Just a bunch of trash laying out there. So I'm here to just ask this council to fix the problem. I don't know what needs to be done, but having our city not have reliable trash service isn't good for anybody. It's not good for the homeowners. It's not good for the property values. It's not good for the businesses. And I don't know why we've had 3.5 decades where we could count on having our trash picked up when it's scheduled. And now we can't. Now, I've seen in the press various excuses or reasons or rationales. This is different and that's different. I don't know, there's been a lot of things different over 35 years, but we always had regular trash pickup. So, I mean, I didn't run for this job because I didn't want it, or any job. I wouldn't have it. If you tried to give it to me today, you couldn't give it to me. Because it's, well, I won't say what it is, because y'all already know better than I do what it is. So, I mean, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I'm just telling you what we've experienced. I've called down here, very nice people I've talked to. I'm not running down the trash bin, because I think they're probably doing a hard job for not very much money. I don't know the details of all that, because I'm not in charge of it. Didn't run for it because I don't want to be. All I'm saying and asking is one thing. Fix it. That's it.
Next, we have Sue Ellen McBride, Division Street Extension. And after that, Brian Rates.
Good evening. We've got a lot of important issues on tonight's agenda, and there are several people here who want to speak. I hope that you will hear all of them on the topics that matter to them. This is our money that you're spending, and we deserve to be heard. You got our attention. Curbside recycling has been temporarily suspended. If we are physically able and have sufficient transportation, we have been asked to sort and transport our recyclables to your facility at our expense for the city to sell. We get it. It is imperative that the city restore the curbside pickup for all residents ASAP. To do that, you need more drivers and helpers because we understand you are understaffed. if you would just pay a minimum starting hourly wage of $15 an hour, you could restore our service. CDL drivers, of course, could still start at a higher rate. I have heard that you currently have 4 to 5 drivers for multiple routes across our entire city, plus the helpers. Yes, you are short-staffed, and it is your responsibility to fix the problem. It's not as if you don't have the funds. You have a pending budget resolution to spend $763,500 in previously uncounted revenues. The finance department has been working hard to redistribute those revenues among the various departments, including approximately $173,000 transferred to the capital reserve fund and redistributing $90,000 from salaries and wages in the sanitation fund to overtime expense in the same fund. I'm asking you to put a pause on approving those reallocations of those funds until sufficient details can be provided. We need to be investing in city employees at an equal or greater rate than the capital equipment. That doesn't take into effect the proposed $4 per month sanitation increase on the agenda tonight for all households starting in July, that your finance director has estimated will bring in an additional $500,000. That doesn't count any carryover in the sanitation fund for this year. What are you waiting for? You have an ordinance on final reading tonight to amend Table 1 and classification table. I'm asking that you send Table 1 back to the Personnel Committee for further review. Proposed minimum wage is not the living wage for most of the hourly workers covered in this table, and you will not attract workers in some of the most depleted departments, such as sanitation, until you raise those wages. This city should not look like a third world country. The citizens of Parkersburg deserve better, and the signs at city entrances proclaiming how great we are do not outweigh the realities of driving through the city, looking at vacant lots, overgrown grass, and trash piled everywhere. The City Council has the right and the duty to commit the funds to address these issues. Thank you.
Next is Brian Riggs from our library, Lakewood Circle.
So I signed up just in case Cindy didn't speak on her own behalf, and she didn't. So I'll speak on her behalf. I've had the pleasure of working with Cindy now for 5 years. She's been a valuable asset to our library board. She brings a good mind. She looks at all the subjects. She does her own research on every matter that comes in front of us. And she's engaged with the library. She's a user of the library, not only as a personal patron, but also as a grandmother. Brings her grandchild to story time. She's involved in a reading program and so forth. And what did she do for her opportunity to come up here and speak tonight? She came up to talk about the library. So this is the kind of representative you do have on the library board. She serves in your interest. We do send you out the minutes and other activities that we do every month and give you a report, which she writes those minutes as the secretary. And she's also, as we put in there, she's your representative, so she's free to come here and speak to you all or answer any of your questions. If you have any questions about the library, she's made herself available, and her contact information is in those board emails every month that I send. So just thank you for your time, and I hope you consider it. Thank you.
Next we have Brian Hayden, 31st Street.
Oh.
Followed by Rusty Madison.
Oh.
The phrase, "I told you so," will be replaced with "this easily predictable outcome was identified early on and brought to your attention." In 2018, the City Council commissioned a report on the economic health of the city of Parkersburg. The bottom line of this report was that our executives and administration are grossly overcompensated, whereas there is a significant undercompensation of the labor
Mr.
trades.
Hayden, which item number are you talking about on the agenda tonight?
Mr. Chairman, the resolution from Tuesday, March 11, 2025 to amend the rules and regulations regarding the public forum as written, adopted, and unamended does not empower the chair to pose this question, nor does it compel any speaker to answer. This is a usurpation of the resolution and is without cause according to Robert's Rules of Orders. This is a breach of decorum by the chair. Now, in order to insulate the chair from further improper action, I begrudgingly and with protest state that I am addressing agenda item 8, subsection 3 and 5. I shall now proceed and I reclaim my time. The City Council at that time, the bottom line of this report was that executives and administration are grossly overcompensated where there is a significant undercompensation of the labor trades. This undercompensation is tantamount to exploitation of the labor trades. The City Council at that time, with some members who are still present, embraced this report by voting to make no changes to business as usual. Since then, the City Council has voted overwhelmingly to continue this exploitation, notwithstanding a single gratuitous increase for certain existing city employees. Absolutely no effort has been made to take action on the underlying failures of our classification and compensation plan. Combining this exploitation with a generally toxic culture perpetuated by the city's leadership, it is easily understandable that a recent op-ed in the News and Sentinel rightly condemned your patrician versus plebeian dichotomy. In light of my complaints, I offer the following solutions. Motion to amend on Ordinance 3, the position of fire inspector created under Table 3, Civil Service Non-Exempt, CS-1A, to remove the potential conflicts of interest of serving at the pleasure of the mayor. Ordinance 5, motion to divide. 1, motion to approve the creation of the housing coordinator position at S4. 4, vote down or table the increase of the maximum salaries that are already overinflated. This action will only affect a small number of persons who are suitably positioned to bear the impact of an austerity policy as endorsed by the current mayor. 3, motion to commit Table 1 to the Personnel Committee until Finance Director can provide an updated table that reflects the appropriate wage increase in all position classifications that should have been enacted in 2018 with sufficient yearly adjustments to facilitate full staffing. I remind the Council that Representative of District 2 previously lamented from this dais about that prior failure to act. How should this be financed? Auditor for the state, Mark Hunt, noted on April 3rd, 2025 that the city had a carryover of $2.9 million. This carryover is monies taken from the taxpayer without any services provided. The city budget indicates that the sanitation fund has an excessive revenue, an amount of approximately $700,000. Taken together, that is over $3.5 million. This represents 10% of the entire city budget. As these funds are compelled to be taken from the taxpayer, we expect services that we pay for. Some present may believe that overcharging and then under-delivering on
Mr. Hague, here's your
services is an ethical way to
keep
do
talking,
business.
you can take a seat or
my
I'll
time,
have you
sir.
move.
There are those
You're
of us who consent
You're
to
done,
be
your
cheated.
4 minutes up, I'm running this meeting, take a seat, thank you.
You do not intimidate me, sir. To quote Mr. Brown.
Next, we have Rusty Madison, Swan Street,
Jeez.
followed by Michael Westbrook.
Okay. I've been complaining about Swan Street for a while now. I'll give a month. If I would fix the problem, one part of the road was caving in. Whoever's doing the problem, they keep fixing that. And for 2, our trash department deserves a raise before any of you, especially him. And for 2, I want to talk to you about that post you made about me on May 19th.
Mr. Madison, let's stick
No, I'll
with
do
what's
my
on
time,
the
Josh.
No, you won't shush me, sir, I'm running this
I'm
meeting,
talking, you're not.
okay?
I'm talking, you're
You
not.
can be removed.
I'm talking,
Talk
you're
about
not.
something that's on the agenda, or you'll be removed, it's that simple. This council's not here.
Because he can
to
post
hear
on Facebook about how
that, we're not here, we're not talking about that.
I don't give
tonight.
a shit.
Okay.
He can't talk
You're
about
going to
Rusty,
take a seat,
Rusty.
or I'll ask the officer to remove you.
Well, I'll
That's
use my
simple.
fucking self. Thank you, man.
Michael Westbrook, Joanne Street,
Fuck you guys, and you guys are worthless.
Oh my God. Jesus. It never fails.
First of all, thank you for allowing us to be here. I'll keep my reactions to
I couldn't hear your name just reading.
Michael Westbrook.
Thank you.
Juliana Street.
Thank you.
So I'm here tonight to give a little bit of my own thoughts. Tell everybody in the district, if you have issue with something, don't just send us all an email. Let's all come out and start talking about it. That's why I'm here. A lot of what I'm going to say will sound very similar to what Walt will say because, well, he lives 2 doors down from me. We've talked about the trash issue ad nauseum over the last few months. I get it. It's a hard job. I don't know what their wages are. I've heard they're low. I've heard you can make more in a convenience store or fast food than what you can make literally going around and picking up our trash. That's not going to attract a lot of people. You know, I've heard, you know, hey, we can all take our recycling to the recycling center, which that sounds fine, except for most people probably aren't going to take the time to load up their recycling into their car and drag it down. It doesn't solve the problem that's there of the trash being left. Because most people are, I would believe, instead of recycling and doing something that's a little good for our city, are going to throw it out with their garbage, which doesn't help the people that are working and it doesn't help our environment. You know, I see that number 10 on the agenda today is talking about this, and I see that it's a proposed $4 increase. I will say whether I'm for or against that, but I will say, Council, I would very much appreciate an answer as to what will that $4 be used for. If it's for wage increase to the workers, I'm for it. If it's for anything else, against it. As Walt said, you know, we're in the historic district and pretty sure it's one of the larger tourist attractions in Parkersburg. Sure feels like by the amount of brochures that we go through and what I've heard from, can't think of the name, but it doesn't look good when you know, for some of us it goes out to the back alley, you don't really see it. For some folks it goes directly in front of their houses, right on Juliana Street. So people that are new to the area walking by looking, they see our trash and our recycling sitting out. I don't believe that's what they're going to see. I think anything else I say will be more or less repeating the information that I'm not going to. I just ask that you, if that $4 increase is for the workers, then we go for it. If it's for anything else, I don't know why we do it.
Thanks, sir.
That's all we have, sir.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This time we'll close our public forum and see if we have a message from the executive tonight.
Just want to quickly let everybody know that the swimming pool's opened over the weekend. I didn't see any of you guys out there that one day when it was 62 degrees. I do have to give some kudos to our engineer, Adam Stout. You know, I don't know that I communicated this, but you know, a lot of times we do a big project like the Southwood Slide. We have a firm that Adam designed that from stem to stern. I mean, he took information from public input over the years, make sure that we got some additional shade out there, and then another big kudos. We had a new certified pool operator, a young man by the name of Zarian, in the Parks Department, who got certified Everett 6-8 months ago, something like that. New to that certification, and our Southwood pool is a little complex. I won't get into all the details, but we make our own chlorine over there, and he jumped in with both feet. And so myself and Everett, Adam's not here tonight, but I think he asked any of the folks at the department heads. I was a little nervous about getting that pool squared away for pH and alkalinity and all that stuff, but so I just want to put that out there. But whatever the last day of school is in Wood County, the pools will be open under normal, and so that's all I have tonight, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk.
Item number 1, a resolution reappointing Cindy Lockney, 1706 20th Street, to Parkersburg, Wood County Public Library Board for a term to expire June 2030.
Mr. President,
Dr. Daly.
make a motion to accept the resolution reappointing Cindy. Second.
We have a motion and a second to confirm. Are there any questions from council? Clerk to vote, please.
Ms. Cool,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Mr. Huffman,
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad,
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski,
Yes.
Ms. Daly,
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds.
Yes. Resolution number 2, please.
A resolution requesting a year-end budget revision for the general fund, parks and recreation, capital reserve, and sanitation.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cool,
move for adoption of the resolution.
Second.
we have a motion and a second from council. Are there any questions from council?
Mr. President.
Yes, sir, Mr. Humphrey.
Yeah, I see the 763,500 an additional revenue coming in for the general fund. And the way that we're spending that, I just had a few questions about some of the line numbers. On finance, we had $105,000 for B&O collections. We're raising that $40,000, taking it to $145,000. And I'm wanting to know who has that contract and what they do and what the terms of that contract would be for the $145,000. Is that something?
We'll have Eric. Guy can answer from my perspective. I was at the meeting, but he can answer.
We engage a firm to identify businesses who are likely operating within city limits based on a database that they maintain. And then they send these businesses our B&O forms, get them registered with a business license and compliant from a B&O standpoint and business license standpoint and user fee standpoint.
And I'm just wondering how effective that program is, if it has paid for the $145,000 contractual service.
Well, they are entitled to 50% of the B&O collections. So if they collect.
That they fund,
That they
that they
fund.
locate, not 50% of all payment.
So yes, they pay for themselves 100%.
So is it commission based like that only, or is there also a base amount?
No, commission only. For that, that's for 2 years after identification, so third year, it's all ours.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Giles while he's here?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Tuck?
under code administration, the contractual service, those extra 6,500, is that mostly grass and weeds, or is that something else?
That is shoring up that line item for items such as grass and weeds contract. There are also cleanups that come out of that line item. So it's just shoring up that line item. Yeah, this is for estimates through the end of the fiscal year.
If I can follow up, these probably would be bids under the 25,000, so they don't go out into the newspaper for bids. Is there a way that we're getting those contracts for cutting grass and weeds?
We put that out to bid.
I understand that if it's not over 25,000, we don't have to put it in the newspaper.
If it's estimated to cost 25,000 and through an entire year, then yeah, we put it out to bid.
Okay, we put it out like in a batch, so it's over 25,000.
We estimate that annually we will spend over 25,000 on the grass and weeds. So we put it out to bid and ask for a unit price so that we get the price per lawn. That's how we bid out the grass and weeds contract.
Mr. President,
Mr. Brown?
Mr. Giles, these are all estimates, and after June 30th, then we will have the hard numbers of what we are going to have in the city as a whole with our ending balance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Giles? Resolution number 2. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, can we get the vote on 2, please?
Ms. Cool,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck. Yes. Mr. Huffman,
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad,
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski,
Yes.
Ms. Daly. Yes. Mr. Reynolds.
Yes, resolution passes. Ordinance on final reading, please.
An ordinance amending and reenacting the classification and compensation plan for the city of Parkersburg, Table 1, part-time hourly positions, and Table 3, civil service non-exempt position classifications.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cool?
move for adoption of the ordinance on first reading.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions from council? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, to vote, please.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuff? Yes. Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly? Yes. Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Ordinance passes. Number 4, please.
Final reading, an ordinance amending and reenacting the City of Parkersburg Policy and Procedure Manual, Section 9, subsection C, sick time payout program. Mr. President,
Mrs. Tuck?
I move to adopt the ordinance amending and reenacting the City of Parkersburg Policy and Procedure Manual about the sick time payout program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions from council on number 4? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, to vote, please.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck? Yes. Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly? Yes. Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Number 5, please.
Final reading, an ordinance amending and reenacting the City of Parkersburg Personnel Policy and Procedure Manual position classification schedule.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cool?
move for adoption of the ordinance on final reading.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Item 5 on final reading. Are there any questions from council? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, to vote, please.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck? Yes. Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly? Yes. Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Ordinance on final reading passes. Number 6, please.
First reading. An ordinance authorizing the acquisition and construction of additions, betterments, and improvements to the sewage portion of the existing public combined waterworks and sewage system of the City of Parkersburg, and the financing of the costs thereof, not otherwise provided, through the issuance by the city of not more than $30 million in aggregate principal amount of combined waterworks and sewage system revenue bonds, Series 2025A, and not more than $2.5 million in aggregate principal amount of combined waterworks and sewage system revenue bonds, Series 2025B, providing for the rights and remedies and security for the registered owners of such bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of all documents related to the issuance of such bonds, approving, ratifying, and confirming a bond purchase agreement relating to such bonds, authorizing the sale and providing for the terms and provisions of such bonds, and adopting other provisions related thereto.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cool?
move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any questions from council?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Tuck?
I wonder if we, I know that the city of Parkersburg put $700,000 into, or $7 million, sorry, into, of the ARPA money into the water and sewer program. And I'm just wondering, and I know we're getting a filtration system of, I think, $12 million. Could you just give a quick explanation of what these bonds cover, just an overall picture? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'll start, if that's okay, Mr. President, and
Yes,
Eric,
sir.
correct me. So the $7 million was for the water project only, and those were small diameter lines.
Small and large.
Small and large, both, I apologize. Yeah, and tank improvements. So that was a totally separate project. I encourage you to look at bond financing or water and sewer financing as individual financing deals. We finance the pub, City Council approved rate increases for water. We used ARPA money to supplement, meant you had to go borrow less money. This is totally separate from that. Those funds, this is different bonds, different forgivable loans, grants, wherever it comes from, IJDC or rural water, wherever the money comes from. That is a totally separate ordinance. Now I'll let Aaron talk a little bit about the plan improvements in the village.
They're actually two separate, they call it combined, but water has to stand on water money and sewer has to stand on sewer money. This is strictly, sewer. It's a $26 million project to replace approximately 9,000 feet of sewer interceptor that is currently pumped. It was built at a higher elevation for the Belleville Dam. Those pump stations are in discontinuous to be replaced. What we were going to do is put the sewer deeper back where it originally was built in the 50s and do away with pump stations, which are high maintenance endeavors. Pipeline, you have very little O&M expense on pipeline. Pump stations, it's a continual thing. Doesn't go away. If that answers your question.
Thanks. We have any other questions from council on the hearing none, Madam Clerk, the vote, please.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Ordinance on first reading, number 7, please.
An ordinance amending and reenacting Article 92701 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Parkersburg with respect to adoption of rules and regulations and increasing rates and charges for sanitary sewer service.
Mr. President,
Mrs. Cole?
move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions from council on number 7?
Mr. President,
Mr. Borkowski?
I just want to say I've been able to attend a couple of the pub meetings here recently, and certainly impressed with the professional makeup of the board, and seeing that there's been no sewer increase since 2014, going on 4 years, 2017, that increase ended. I'm in full support of this ordinance.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else on council wishing to speak or have a question? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, the vote, please.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, ordinance passes first reading. Number 8, please.
An ordinance authorizing the design, acquisition, construction, and equipping of certain extensions, additions, betterments, and improvements to the existing sewer system in the city of Parkersburg.
Mr. President,
Mr. Brown?
move to approve ordinance authorizing design and acquisition of construction equipment.
The motion approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions from council? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, the vote, please.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, ordinance passes first reading. I believe that takes us down to number 9.
That was a spot for other things, that there are no other things to go with that. Is that correct? Item number 10. An ordinance amending Article 95509A, waste disposal fees by increasing fees from $18 to $22 per month, effective July 1, 2025.
Mr. President,
Mr. Brown?
move to approve the ordinance Article 95509. Place disposal.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions from council on number 10?
Mr. President,
Mrs. Poole?
I have, a question for the mayor or for Eric, whichever one wants to answer this, and Mary, you probably know the answer also. Now, we're raising the fee $4 per month to give them a $2 on the hour pay increase for CDL licensed drivers. Even though this $4 is supposed to bring in approximately $500,000 in revenue, how much of that revenue do we actually write off because people don't pay their sanitation bills?
I will tell you that we bill police, fire, and sanitation fees simultaneously. We call it utility billing in our system. He may be able to give you the hyper accurate or something hyper accurate.
My estimate for fiscal 26 is 220,000.
220,000. So that's,
That's sanitation.
I'm sorry,
Sanitation.
right, sanitation, 220,000. So of that 500,000, we're gonna write off 220,000.
No, that's, if I may, the total estimated revenue from the billing is $3,109,000. So with the $4, and so that 220,000 is estimated for the entire 3.1 million, not the 500,000.
Eric, could you repeat that? I'm having trouble hearing, I'm
So,
sorry.
With the $4 increase. Is that better, right here? With the $4 increase, I'm estimating 3.1 million in revenue.
That's how much the $4 brings in.
Total, that's
The total.
total, $22 a month.
Okay.
And of that, I anticipate writing off about 220,000 of the 3.1 million total.
Thank you.
Mr. President? Mrs. Tucker, are you done?
Yeah, with that one, thank you.
Mr.
For Mr. Giles, so the $4 increase is an estimated $576,000. Is that correct? In revenue.
565,000.
Okay. And how much of that goes towards the wage increase for $2?
For $2. I mean, here's the thing. I'm estimating a total of $3 million, total revenue, $3,250,000. Okay, got $3,259,000, and this is all in the budget that you adopted here recently. Of that $3,250,000, $1,460,000 is personnel costs, wages, benefits, etc. $848,500 is contractual service. $283,000 is supplies. $200,000 is a transfer to capital reserve so that we can have money in there for when we need a package truck.
Now, all the numbers that you're quoting right now, are those increased numbers or total with the budget?
Those are total in the budget.
Okay.
Okay? And this is where you can see where we're spending the money, right here. And, you know, there's also depreciation expense and bad debt expense. Again, we're not gonna collect every dime that we bill. Okay? So, specifically, this $500,000 increase is dedicated exclusively for that. That's not how this works. That's just not how it works. Okay? Well, how it works is we have an estimated total revenue and an estimated expenditures. That's how it works.
Okay, because I had asked you a few questions last week. I hadn't heard back. The 565 revenue, it looks like, so we're increasing the bad debt expense. You had said 220, but we're not increasing it. We're increasing it about $36,000 of that 565. 36,000 about will go to that.
Yes.
100,000 will go to wages, and then we have we're increasing our capital reserve transfer this year by 50,000
200,000.
from 150 to 200.
There was no 150 much.
Okay, so it's the same, not 200.
There has not been a transfer to capital reserve since fiscal 23 because fiscal 24 and fiscal 25 we purchased tractor trucks with ARPA money.
Well, my issue here is that whenever I was presented with the $4 raise, I was thinking that was mostly to go to better wages so we could find more drivers so that we could resume normal service. But it looks like only 100,000 of the 576 is being used for that. So I'm thinking that we either need to lower the fee, the $4 fee, or we need to do something about the wages with the $500,000 we get with increased revenue.
If I may also point out, you're also making up a fiscal 15 or fiscal 2025 deficit of 160,000. So before this rate increase, you're starting on in the hole by $160,000. And add that just to the 200 for capital reserve, there's $360,000 that needs to happen. Otherwise, we're not going to have any equipment on the road. So 360,000 right off the top of that 500,000, if you want to look at it that way. And then the rest of it is personnel costs and other things here that the city has not been and will not be immune from inflation. So costs go up year in, year out. One thing about this budget is that it's a budget. It's an estimate. Okay? The actual results differ from the budget. So when you, again, I don't think that it's proper to say, oh, well, I'm raising the revenue 500 and some thousand to go to these specific things when the fund in of itself needs to operate as a whole.
Okay, that $200,000 capital reserve transfer, does that go to any sanitation equipment specifically?
Yes. There's an earmark in there already for a recycling truck in capital reserve. It is for $125,000 earmark, and then there's 400 and some thousand contingent for capital outlay, which includes package truck. Are we spending all that now? No. But we will when we need a package truck.
Right. But just to be clear, the capital reserve fund will go to more than just sanitation related projects, right? It can go to any city project, police, flood wall, streets.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Bukowski.
I'm going to try to maybe simplify this for us. And Eric, stay here so you can correct me if I say anything that doesn't jive. We're proposing to go from $18 to $22. It's my understanding that that $4 increase, well, it is not my understanding. The fact of the matter is, we voted on that budget prior to a $2 increase for our sanitation workers. So if you look at that $4 increase, we're maybe looking at a 3 or 4 year time period where our sanitation budget will be whole. We voted a $2 increase on top of that. So now we're going to be upside down next year. We're going to have to raise rates just to maintain and to be able to provide services moving forward. And we have to keep in mind that this is an enterprise fund. We can only spend what we bring in. We can't subsidize. So if you look at it, we can do one of three things. And if anybody else has any ideas, I'd love to hear them. We can pay our sanitation workers and raise your rates so much that some of you may pay for them, but we're going to have a whole lot more people upset with us because our sanitation rates have gone through the roof. We can pay our sanitation workers and and not raise our rates, and we can have sanitation workers with good paying rate, and we'll have no equipment for them to pick up our trash. Or we can look at the elephant in the room, privatization. I don't think anybody on this council doesn't want to pay our sanitation. But for somebody to be a member of this body and to put out there on social media and be quoted to say that there's a simple solution, if there's such a simple solution, it would already been taken care of. Bring those simple solutions to the table, let us vote them up or down, but don't sit there. I think it's irresponsible for members of this body to go out to the public and tell them it's simple, just pay them more without recurring, ongoing revenue to fund forever pay raises. Now, if you want to be told what you want to hear, there's probably people up here that'll do that for you, but I'm not that guy. I'm going to take the cold, hard truth, and I'm going to work to find a solution and give us a reliable service at a reasonable rate, and I'll probably have much more to say tomorrow night. Thank you. And I'm in favor of the $4 raise because we need it.
Mr. President. Eric, you told me to look at the budget, and I did. I looked at the balance sheet. I looked at the account summary, profit loss. And I went through each year from 2018, so I might need to sit down with you and do this. But we had 1 year in 2018 when we started off with a deficit. But according to this, there's been no deficit since 2018. I looked at the ending fund balance in sanitation. We had actuals. 2018 we had $882,000 to the good. In 2019 we had $1,010,000 to the good. In 2020 we had 1,000. That was our money. In 21 we had 1,213,000. In 2022 we had 2,048,000. In 23-24 we had 3 million to the good. I don't see. I have not been able to find where we have deficits. It's not showing up in either the balance sheet or the budgets itself. So when you say we have a deficit, I haven't been able to find it.
So all of those fund balance numbers that you just read off, those are all inclusive of capital assets. Okay, that includes Packer trucks, that includes the MRF, the building. Okay, that includes all of the equipment in that building, the conveyors, everything that it takes to make this operation work is included in those numbers. And you had noted that there was an increase in, I think you said fiscal 23, 24, and 25. Well, we're in 25, fiscal, whatever it was. But this council voted to transfer between fiscal 23 and 24. This council voted to transfer a total of $837,000 into the sanitation fund. Okay, this council did that. Or not this, the last council, I apologize. Okay, and then also, ARPA, okay, purchased 2 very expensive Packer trucks in the last year. Okay, which also goes into that fund balance number. So if you want to look at what is completely spendable fund balance, you have to back up all the assets. You have to back them all off. And you can do that on the balance sheet there. So just count cash and receivables. Okay, and then go down and reduce your payables. Okay, and then you'll get a much better picture of how much money is actually sitting in sanitation fund. Okay? Now, the other thing that I want to address is, if you look at the 24-25 budget, okay, we budgeted a deficit of $160,000. We're in that budget right now. So there's your projected deficit. Okay? And so, you know, between those 2 years, fiscal 23 and 24, okay, there was fund balance transferred in. okay, that is inclusive of all capital assets.
Well, that's been the frustration, is that when I look at the budget we've given, what I show is an intergovernment transfers in 23-24 of $358,000. So it's not showing, the balance sheets have never had a deficit in this that you gave me. And then, so it's just, I agree with you, Andrew, that we really need to see the facts and figures because.
Well, and with all due respect, those are the facts and figures, okay, and I'm not, and please believe me when I tell you this, I had 6 years of college and a CPA license to understand accounting, okay? And so what I'm telling you, I'm trying to explain it to you in plain terms, which, without sounding condescending, okay, trying to be respectful, all right? What I'm telling you is those numbers, those transfers in, fiscal 23-24, $858,000. 570,000 of that was Packer trucks from ARPA fund. 300 and some thousand was what council had authorized to transfer in. And the previous year, at 582,000, same thing. Council had authorized that transfer. Okay, there's a black and white explanation for everything that you want to know, and it's all right there in what you're looking at. Those are the facts.
The ARPA money doesn't show up in the budget. I mean, I don't know, when you're asking me to look at the budget, it's not showing. All I'm saying is that when I got the balance sheet, when I got the budget, the ARPA money does not show transfer in for the Packer trucks or for some of these other things. They're not easily accessible to, I'm not an accountant, but I can look at budgets and I can say, oh, that doesn't show up, you know, like in here. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm just saying it's not easily accessible for me to understand why there's a deficit. Like when I look at the bottom lines, I'm not seeing them.
But again, if you look at the audit report, if I may real quick, if you look at the audit report, okay, which is given to all of you, you know, the balance sheets on the audit report, okay, they will tell you how much of the fund balance is invested in capital assets. Okay? I mean, the budget, same thing.
Dr. Dale?
When she's done, I just want to.
I'm sorry.
When this comes done,
Okay. Are you done, Mrs. Pence? Dr. Dale, did you have something? I didn't give you that time.
So yes, I'm a doctor, I'm not an accountant. I would not want to do your job. But what I think you're saying, because I'm a very basic person, pediatrician, simple mind. Sanitation, we had to put a lot of money into it just to make it whole. And those are the deposits. You're transferring money from one thing to another in order for it to not be upside down. Correct?
Yes. That was the intention when those were proposed to city council, yes.
And then what Andrew said makes sense, that at some point we will flip and be upside down again because it's an enterprise fund. And if we don't continue to put money back in, there is a possibility we will start at a deficit like we did last year.
With the original 4.2% and $4 increase in the rates, I anticipated that would carry us on and be able to provide COLAs for the sanitation staff for the next 3 years without having to raise the rates now. I don't think we could do that. I think we'll have to, we might be able next year to hold off, but the year after that, definitely if we aren't. If we are able to avoid a rate increase the next year, the year after that is certain.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Mr. President.
So what
is not making sense to me about what you just said, Ms. Daly, is, okay, so we need the $4 just so we can keep running, staying positive as an enterprise fund. But are we not transferring $200,000 out of sanitation to pay for things that are non-sanitation related?
That is false. Completely false.
if I may, non-accountant, explain. So, anytime the city of Parkersburg buys capital equipment, which the definition of that is, how much does it have to cost? $5,000 or more. It's purchased for accounting rules and transparency and audit findings. It's purchased out of the capital reserve fund. Whether it's a lawnmower, a sanitation truck, a recycling truck, a pickup truck, all capital equipment and assets are purchased out of the capital fund. So that fund, sanitation, puts money's transferred out of there for their purchase of those trucks. We could have, he's probably going to throw something at me, we could probably have a capital fund for sanitation only if we wanted to. I mean, but we buy all of our capital stuff out of anything that costs $5,000 or more is purchased out of capital. That's how we budget. We have to show the auditor that this is what we're planning on spending on capital. And that's not just rolling stock. It can be, it can be, I don't know, we can engineering stuff maybe from time to time, things of that nature. So it's not all equipment, regardless of the part. Fire trucks. Chief's got a fire truck coming, and it's supposed to be December. What do you think? Anyway, it's going to be purchased out of that fund. It was budgeted. That's where the money was appropriated. That's where it sat for 2 or 3 years. Then we closed that gap with ARPA funds, I think. But it went in there, and then that's where the check's written out of that fund. That's how we document and demonstrate buying capital equipment. All that stuff is bought out of the capital fund. So his estimate for Packer trucks, and it might sit there for we've had stuff get carried over for years, saving a little bit at a time. I know at least one fire truck, Chief, we did 3 years probably. We did that with the first round of sanitation stuff before we got the ARPA. So we did that with skid steers, backhoes. I mean, we save for things that we anticipate, particularly the big ticket items, which, some of those 26,000 pound and more vehicles are super pricey. Back truck, we did that. No, maybe not. Maybe flusher truck, we did that. Flusher truck, we did that.
Do we have any more discussion under discussion only from City Council? Yeah, number 10. Number 10, right? That's where we're at, number 10.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any more discussion on number 10? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, the vote, please.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
No.
Mr. Huffman?
No.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Polkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. Ordinance passes. And now we're down to discussion only. I have a motion to open the floor for discussion for City Council.
Mr. President, I think everyone that needed to talk under that is all been handled. Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Get the vote on the adjournment, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Polkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Reynolds?
Yes. We're going to have a City Council meeting. The next meeting is going to be on the 10th of June, and following this meeting, we have URA. We'll start URA in about 5 minutes.
give me a headache.
lives in Baltimore, and she can only give me so much time. And sometimes I need the face-to-face and expect to not get. Yep.
That is absolutely my son.
And it's pervasive. And they don't even. It's nutrition. So.
Connie, vote please. The roll please.
Mr. McCready? Ms. Poole?
Here.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Tuck? Here. Mr. Huffman?
Present.
Mr. Reynolds? Mr. Polkowski?
Here.
Ms. Daly? Here. Mr. Rexroth?
Here. Minutes were given out prior to this meeting for the March 25th meeting. We have a motion to approve.
Motion approved as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Ms. Connie, the roll please.
Ms. Poole?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Present.
No, we're voting.
Ms. Tuck? Yes. Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Polkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroth?
Yes. Moving on, we have a public forum. Does anybody have any objection to just moving a form for each application so they can speak on each particular one rather than en masse?
Motion to make it before each one.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Connie, vote please.
Ms. Poole?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Hold on. I'm sorry, what are we voting on?
To put instead of a mass public forum at the beginning, we put it right before each application, so they're speaking specifically on that.
Thank you. Yes.
Ms. Tuck? Yes. Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Polkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroth?
Yes. Moving on to new business, application to purchase 1611 Latrobe Street.
We have an application to purchase 1611 Latrobe Street. This is Charles Bruins. Well, his application is to purchase this lot as a side lot extension. The goal is to fence it in and have it as a place for his grandkids to play. This lot includes 317 and 317A, so his application would be for both of them. And he provided me some plans of fencing it in, keeping it safe, most of the swings out there. We have to notify. This is not located in any of our planning focus areas. 4,000.
Okay, at this time, I'll open up a public forum on 1611 Latrobe Street. If anyone would like to speak, come to the mic, please.
Oh, hell.
Hi, I'm Lisa Prince. I'm for the applicant because one, it's a yard extension. He's bidding $4,000. We all know that these lots are, for lack of a better word, a burden. We're now this year paying $40 a lot to mow, which has to be mowed minimally once a month. I know this one hasn't been on the list that long, but I think and it's well within the reason of, what was it, 5,000 maybe to acquire it? He should go for it. You all should give it to him. Let's get it off the list.
Damn, girl.
My name is Charles Grievous, and I'm the one that bid on this lot. And as I stated on the application, I wanted to make it a playground type for my great grandkids. I have 4 that are between the ages of 1 and 5. And I think that this would be a good place for them when they come to visit, to be able to have a safe area to play in, not have to go out in the streets or sidewalks. And as I say, most of it will be fenced in with a 4-foot chain link fence. And I'm
swing slides, maybe a rubber type bounce thing or something similar to that in there. And so, that's what I plan to do.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Cool?
Mr. Girls, I have a question. The steps, can you put that back in? The steps that are there along with that brick wall, which seems to be deteriorating, are you going to remove that also? Are you going to remove the steps?
Not at this time.
Okay, what about the wall? It's falling. I mean, I'm just looking.
Well, I live next door at 1609, and mine's not in much better condition. And I have pieces, the concrete is deteriorated. It's not good concrete anymore. I will be trying to make some patchwork to keep it from getting any worse. I'm putting some concrete patches in to keep the contour of the wall reasonable, but at this time I'm not planning any major changes.
I think it's a great idea what you're doing for your great grandkids.
Well, that's, like I say, I've got,
Especially, in that area.
yeah, I have 4 little ones, and, they like to, each of them, kids nowadays have a lot of battery-operated toys with light, this and that, and they have no business being out on the streets or the sidewalks.
That's
And
right.
I know this has been empty for about 4 years or so. And I'm just now in the position that I can make an offer on this. I thought that would be a good thing. There's not a lot of small children in the neighborhood. My next door neighbor at 1605, they have 1 new baby, and they have a 3 or 4-year-old. So I figured, it'd be a good gathering place if any other families move in with small kids or something like that. We don't have anything in that neighborhood. It's just family, single family, few duplex or something. That's what I thought that would be a good use for.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the motion to accept the offer of $4,000 for 1611 Latrobe Street.
Second.
Well, let's, I'd like to close public forum first, make sure nobody else wants to speak on that.
I'm sorry.
We're still in the middle of public forum,
Oh,
so
sorry.
I want to make sure everybody else has a chance to speak if
okay.
wants to, and then we'll move forward with that. Thank you, sir. Was there anyone else wanting to speak before we moved on to the motion? Hearing none, we'll close public forum and.
Okay, now I'd like to make a motion to accept the application and the purchase price, $4,000 to 1611 Latrobe Street.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Comment, vote, please.
Mr. President, may I make a comment?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
You've been a really good neighbor in that area, and the property is very sloped, and it really would not be good for housing on that particular lot. So I think this is a good move also.
Hearing no other discussion, we'll proceed with vote, please.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Stuff?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Bukowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes. Congratulations, sir. Moving on to B, application to purchase 1211 William Street.
This parcel, our applicant is getting $1,000, it's Jerry Hester, this is located in our board district. This is also for a side yard extension, and Jerry Hester owns 2 rental dwelling
This is not located in any focus areas, and, yeah, he's been conflict.
All right, at this time I'll open the public hearing for anyone wishing to speak on 1211 William Street. Hearing none, I'll entertain any motions on this property.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Cool?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the purchase price of $1,000 for 1211 William Street. This, I would like to also add, this gentleman owns several properties and rentals in the city of Parkersburg. And he also maintains them very, very well. So,
We have a motion, do I hear a
Second.
A motion and a second, any questions on it?
This has been also been an empty lot for quite some time. I think it burned many years ago. We finally got it torn down, so I'm delighted to see it being used and taken off the mobile list. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, Ms. Connie, would you please?
Ms. Poole?
yes.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Tuck? Yes. Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes. Moving on to C, application to purchase 806 Swan Street.
This lot is located in a B1 district. This is located in one of our redevelopment planning focus areas on SM and Mary Street. Because it's a mixed use and very district.
God bless you.
Our applicant has two possible plans for this parcel. In speaking with the neighbor, he came after he had submitted his application and told me that they have an interest to subdivide the lot and make the adjoining lots a bit larger, so they would consolidate, essentially take half of that lot for each side. And they also plan to fix the sidewalk in the front. The other option is to put a house with dimensions of 16 by 41 on that lot, which would fit with their setbacks. So he has a lot of ideas about what he can do to this lot and to develop this portion of the neighborhood.
At this time, we'll open up public hearing on 806 Swan Street.
Just demonstration to be critical, but this sure is a can't tell you. My name's Leon Bear, and I live at 804 Swan Street. I have actually maintained that piece of property right there since 2013. My neighbor seen me out there taking some measurements on it, and I had several things in mind that I might do with it. And he asked me if I would divide the property with him, so we got a bid of $5,300 to put 84 feet of concrete sidewalk and a 10 by 20 off-street parking lot for him. I think that would fit both of us well there if we would do that. Anything else I could add to that, or is everybody satisfied?
Mr. President, I just have a question. Are you gonna buy the property yourself
I will
and then
purchase
split
the
it out?
property, yes, and then we'll have a surveyor and attorney to divide it and everything that we need to do there.
That would be after,
Yeah,
after whether you,
correct.
okay. I noticed that you've, mowed grass for, like you said, 12 years, so you saved the city well over $4,000 in your labor, so we appreciate that.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Cool?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the offer of $5,000 for eight.
That's 500.
$500, I'm sorry, for 811 Swan Street, am I correct?
806.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry.
8:06.
Hearing none. Ms. Conklin, please.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly? Yes. Mr. Rexford?
Yes. Congratulations, sir. Moving on to item D, application which is 1409 20th Street.
1409 20th Street is located in an R3 district. The applicant has plans to construct a single-family dwelling on this lot. In their application, they talk about their goal is to improve the community. They have the means to be able to turn this lot into a single-family dwelling. They are bidding $5,000. This is not located in our planning focus areas. The lot's about 30 by 130, which should be room for them to develop into a single family dwelling. They might require a side yard setback variance. In that neighborhood, it looks like a lot of the houses are not within their zoning, our current regulation. So to fit with the neighborhood, this would be something that the board of zoning appeals would have to look over and make a decision on.
All right. Anyone wishing to speak on 1409 20th Street? Mike? Hearing none. Any discussion on this property?
Mr. Chair,
Mrs. School?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the offer of $5,000 for 1409 20th Street.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none. Ms. Conklin, please.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly? Yes. Mr. Rexford?
Yes. Moving on, we don't have any returning business. Moving on to number 7, other business for the authority. A, considering an increase in property purchase allowance from $2,000 to $5,000.
I'm gonna pass this over to Ryan Barber to discuss this a little bit with you guys.
Yes, I'll keep this really brief. Probably 3 years ago, the Urban Renewal Authority authorized the administration to administratively acquire property for up to $2,000 per property. Overwhelmingly, this has only been exercised through the state's delinquent tax sale. Our office has been fairly active the past 2 years, exercising our right of first refusal at these tax sales. So we've actually paid delinquent taxes both last July at the 2024 tax sale and just last month. So initially this was intended to be brought before you last month, but because of scheduling challenges, we had to push this resolution to May. But again, the intent was to increase our capacity to potentially acquire additional properties at these tax sales. So, if anyone has been to a delinquent tax sale, you generally see lots of folks looking to do the same thing, right, to acquire additional property. But what we don't want to have is bad actors to come in and acquire additional properties. So the state and the state auditor had authorized land use agencies and authorities that right of first refusal, which allows us a few days. Typically, we get a heads up of 3 or 4 days to look at properties properties that will be appearing at the tax sale. So we do our research and do significant due diligence efforts, kind of analyze what we've looked at over the past year. Generally, it's properties that have appeared before the BEA or that we've already demoed and leaned. So we are attempting to recapture our interest and our initial investment on these properties. I typically say we're mowing lots of properties in the city. I'd rather mow properties that we own rather than properties that we don't own right now. We're likely not to collect payment there. So last year, just for your information, last year we purchased taxes of 42 properties at the delinquent tax sale, averaging purchase price of $687. Last month, we participated again in purchase taxes of another 40 properties. So if successful, 9 to 12 months after the sale, we will secure tax deeds. So everyone talks about the URA's inventory of properties, it will likely get much, much larger in 3 months and then again a year from now. So I wanted you to be aware of that. This is the intent of the resolution, is to exercise additional authority and potentially ensure more properties aren't falling in the wrong hands.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Cole?
this really, I don't guess, Ryan, this is for you, could be for Andy Nestor, but I know we're acquiring these properties, but we're also acquiring properties that need mowed. And we're having, we're really, I realize it's raining, but the mowing is getting behind. Is URA properties being bid separately? Can we not bid the URA properties separately? Would we actually have someone who would like to do that along with the city properties? Because URA's got quite a few properties. Do we have to vote on, is that something we need to?
Usually we start out, our mowing season's set by our bid. We put it out for bid from start on this day and on this day. So what we usually start out with, since we already have those properties, we add the URA lots first. And then for a private lot, an owner-occupied lot, we have to, by law, we have to give them a violation letter, give them 15 to, I usually give 15 days to remediate before I even forward that on to the mowing crew, the subcontractor. Put on the list for him to mow, and then it's at his convenience to when he get to it. So that's kind of the problem. There's already a separate list for the URA lots, and this is the first one that did. To the subcontractor to go ahead and start mowing. This year's been horrible for mowing.
I know.
So kind of got a little bit late start on it due to the weather.
I just wondered if it would help if we did the URA.
I believe
Totally separate
our
sheet.
mayor went out and mowed about 20-some properties over the weekend, so just to get caught up on the URA lots.
I just wondered if it would help.
That would be up to the URA and how they want to fund it. Like how the URA funds. All those properties at the end of the year when the finance department.
I gotta get up at 3:30.
They'll bill at the end of each year for every lot that we mow.
You've already been out for this year, correct?
Correct.
So this is something we really need to consider for next year.
I suppose the URA could have their own contractor to mow their own lots, but that would be up to the board.
Yeah, okay. All right, just something to throw out there. Okay, sorry, Ryan. If we're gonna up the ante here, we're gonna get more and more lots, so just wanna make sure we're covered.
We're up to approximately 190 properties already.
190 URA properties or total
58.
that you're mowing?
I think there's 58 URA properties. I think there was close to 58 URAs
On
already.
the set, okay.
Another additional 140 privately owned lots.
Okay. All right.
Do we pay?
I'm not sure of the bid. I think it came in at $38 for one lot. Oh, sorry. There was a lot of bid that they did well for it.
Mr.
Ms. Stubb?
Ryan, is there a lot of competition for those lots? Like, I always question about whether the city should be owning property versus trying to get, neighbors or flippers to buy it. Is anybody competing for these lots against you, or are you pretty much the only bidder?
So when we issue our right of first refusal, that property does not appear. So we basically stake our claim 123 Main Street. We've issued that. It's pulled prior to the day of the sale, so other speculators don't have the opportunity. Well, it's a bid, but seldomly there are competitions. Bidding wars for properties, and a large percentage of them go unbid, uncollected.
And do we have any limit on the number of lots we can purchase in a given year? We can just go as many as we
Well,
want?
you have a budget. that we have to
Okay,
maintain.
and that would be, so it's 5,000 per, up to 5,000 per lot. What would be the maximum?
You could assign a cumulative balance, right, with this resolution. You could say 5,000 per parcel up to X. You could sunset the resolution, for 3 years and then reevaluate when new administration comes in. So there is some flexibility
actually buying the properties and, the mayor's doing what he needs to do. But URA needs to know which properties we're buying. And we're not getting a list of those properties to add to our list.
Well, all we've done is purchase the taxes. We, even at last year's sale, that was last July, we have not secured a single tax deed
Okay.
yet.
But when they are secured, you can let us know, correct?
Absolutely, and our inventory will be updated to reflect that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
But
Miss Cool, if you want to call me anytime, I keep an updated list, so if you ever want to call me, I can keep you guys through around a lot of the through things.
Just one more question, Mr. Chairman. So these are the homes.
the vast majority are vacant lots that we've already taken action on. We've already made an investment, typically a demo of a structure, and they're vacant lots, difficult to develop parcels. You've seen agenda items previously today would be good examples of us taking action to pay the taxes and get those parcels back into some sort of productive use. Whether it's a side yard or a playground or a small home, purchasing the taxes, waiting, doing that notice to redeem process, waiting and doing our due diligence allows us to own that property publicly and then make it available for private folks to purchase.
So if there had been a demo and lane and the property's just sitting there and it goes for taxes, you're not necessarily buying houses, though, you're just buying primarily these
Primarily.
houses. Because I would hate for us to take on more demolitions if we bought these houses or houses that need to be demolished.
And we do look strategically at, where we can bank properties. If there's, the URA owns a lot here and a lot here and a lot here, if there's a property here, we may look at that, strategically.
Any more discussion?
Would like to make a motion? Make a motion to up the property purchase allowance from 2,000 to 5,000 on tax sales.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, make an amendment.
Go ahead.
I would like to put in a 3-year sunset period to do an experiment of how that works out and if we're able to handle that budget and, how that process works. I move to make an amendment that we allow this $5,000 limit for a period of 3 years.
So what your amendment is to make this so this is just a 3-year thing that we revisit to reapprove whether we keep it going or not?
Correct.
Amendment dies for lack of a second. We got a motion and a second on the original motion. Yes.
Just to clarify, Ms. Cool, you said exclusively for tax sales? Is that your motion?
That's where we buy these, that's correct?
Well, predominantly, but it's not exclusively. It could be administratively, if we're going to identify another property.
This is just increasing $3,000 for you to buy. Yes.
Andy?
There have been, to expand on that, there have been some circumstances where we worked with the owner of the property and say there was city fees associated with the property. And so we could offer them up to right now up to $2,000 to acquire that property with us, getting our fees back and then they get the difference. So say they earn $1,000 in fees, we offer them $2,000, we get our $1,000 back, and then they walk out and we've exercised that many times to acquire some very dilapidated properties to redevelop. If you want to look at Staunton Avenue area, we've exercised that with 2 or 3 houses in that
All right,
area.
I'll just amend this to property purchase allowance.
Mr. President, we have a motion and a second.
Yeah, so you need to withdraw your motion.
I didn't, the guy that made the second, has to withdraw.
Sure.
And then you can make the new motion.
I'm going to withdraw the second.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion
Holly.
To buy property, purchase allowance, to increase it from 2,000 to 5,000.
Second. Motion is second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, call the vote please.
Ms. School?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Polkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Daly?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes. Moving on to B, next steps for 1107 Lynn Street.
We acquired 1107 Lynn Street through a donation recently. This parcel has a structure on it, and so we need to decide on what the next step should be to take for this structure. Sorry. This structure currently is in let me show you pictures. This is what it's looking like currently. It's secure. Just has a structure on it. This is the back portion.
Ooh.
These are just a few pictures of the inside. The code officers have gone inside and done some asbestos testing, just as a preliminary, just to make sure that we understand what's going on with our property. Up to you guys to make a decision of what you'd like to do next regarding the structure.
Set it on fire.
Ms. Dodd?
Do we have options, like, do we have any idea how much it would, like, is repairing an option, is demolition an option, what are we?
It's up to you guys to make a decision of what your options are. I'm just here to facilitate any of the options that you see fit. If you want to rehab it, I can do some research to get out a quote. If you would like to have it demolished, we can do the same thing. We have a lot of options that you guys can decide.
Sure, I think it would help to know how much it would potentially cost to rehab before we make a decision about what happens to it. Just because, I mean, I was in the house certainly frequently before the owner died, so I know, a little bit about it, but.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I think generally your goal is to secure some of light. How you do that is up to you. I think you kind of have three paths you can take: secure and hold, redevelop and sell, or demolish. How you get to those points, that's up to you all. But we don't have a structural engineer. We don't have a general contractor on retainer, so we don't have those things. We don't have a structural. We're not going to be able to tell you the structural sound or is it feasible to rehabilitate unless you advise us to do that.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. School?
Andy, I have been past this house, down the alley of it. The whole structure in the back seems to be falling down. Correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, the porch is falling off of, the roof is falling down. This picture, when was this picture taken?
Not,
3 weeks ago.
yeah.
Because I just drove by yesterday and it doesn't look like that.
424.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that now. I mean, this right here makes it look like it's pretty good. It doesn't look like that now. But you've had the asbestos done on it, study, correct?
Correct, we have named the asbestos sample.
And there is asbestos.
I believe this came back from.
Clean? Okay. All right, I'd like to make a motion to demo.
Oh my God.
Motion died for lack of second.
Mr. Chair,
Dr. Daly?
I'd like to make a motion to find out what our options are, how you stated it, Brian, so we make an informed decision. Not that I disagree with the demolition might not be best, but I can't really say.
So is the goal to ascertain a cost to make it code compliant?
Yes. Or is demolition a better option? So, from a price point, whatever you need.
So basically it needs assessment.
Thank you, that's the word.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any questions?
What are we making a motion on?
Needs.
Basically, a needs assessment on this property to ascertain whether it would be feasible to repair or demo. Or make it code.
I personally think it's ready to go, but, it's bad shape. It really is in bad shape. But
Do we have a second on the motion?
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, vote please.
Ms. Poole?
no.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Polkowski?
No.
Ms. Daly? Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to item C, just an update on the needs assessment for 714 Market Street.
Yes, I was hoping we'd have a better update tonight. We did share a draft report of the needs assessment for 714 Market with Chair and Vice Chair a few weeks ago. We did have some questions from Pickering, who was doing this.
Yeah, I know.
Basically, an incomplete study. So it's a draft. I was hoping to be able to share the final draft with you all tonight. It's not ready, unfortunately. But we did look at some price points for several of the major building systems in there. So we are analyzing what a price point is. There's a few things we're missing, like an elevator upgrade and sprinkler systems. So as soon as we have that report, I will share that with you all. We did kind of one of the recurring themes in the draft report is the presumed presence of asbestos in lead-based paint. So we have been working with the state and the DEP to do some phase 1 ESA studies, specifically analyzing asbestos, lead-based paint, and the presence of mold. So again, we're just better understanding the property that we have, so we can better inform ourselves, make more informed decisions. We need to invest in this property, but also having tangible documents for real estate developers to know exactly what the building needs and what their anticipated costs may be to make it code compliant.
Mr. Chair?
Ms. Tuck.
Ryan, would that qualify for any brownfield redevelopment grants?
Phase 1 is the first phase of that process. So you assess what's there, and then you search for brownfield remediation.
Okay.
So we're kind of going through the process.
Great.
Any other questions? We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, thank God.